Hello and welcome back to the Spirit of Creating and part 2 of the series of uncovering your creative confidence. Don't forget that you can download the accompanying digital journaling guide that accompanies this series by following the links provided. In this week's episode, I'm asking the question, who do you think you are? What do you think of yourself? What do you think about what you create in terms of your art? And most importantly, how do you talk to yourself? That's probably the most important question of all. And I am going to go out on a limb and I'm going to bet that some of the things that you think about yourself and your creativity are not very positive. And that there's a distinction between being aware of our flaws and being dictated by them and seeing them as a focal point. Because when we perceive ourselves from a negative viewpoint, then we create a list of things about ourselves that we need to fix. And fixing anything takes time and energy. The same time and energy that could be better utilized elsewhere. Now, the list of things that are wrong with you that need fixing are the very things that distract you unnecessarily from making the art you want to make and doing it in a way that you want to do it. So if you're believing everything that you've come up with, and there is a litany of obstacles that you need to overcome, from creating worthy art to making yourself interesting enough to put it out there and share it, then all the work in front of you has got nothing to do with creativity and acting on your inspired ideas, but everything to do with fixing everything that you think is wrong with you and your art. There is one person whose opinion holds the most value and is the most important voice we hear, and this person is you. The question is, what are you thinking and saying to yourself about your art? We limit ourselves in terms of not creating or sharing our art because we want to make the perfect piece. We want to feel worthy before we showcase it, and we're scared of what other people are going to think or say about it. But the truth is, it's our own self-talk and thoughts we hold about ourselves that's stopping us from showing up for our art and advocating for it. And now I'm going to say something that might not be so popular and that you might not like, but your negative beliefs about the way you create and what you create really makes up the body of excuses you're giving yourself as to why you're not making the art that you want to. It forms a foundation for all your excuses and rebuttals as to why you can't do the things that you genuinely want to do. So if a dream remains a dream, it still holds something of value to us because it holds this container of potential and hope for us. We can live inside these dreams and we can get to enjoy them endlessly. And we never have to confront anything outside of that container because we're not taking any actions that we need to take. Instead, we're cozying up with our dreams in the knowledge that nothing will dent them or scratch their surfaces because we know deep down we are not going to execute on them. And then we have a hotbed of excuses why we can't. And this is where your list of everything that's wrong with you and your creative process and outcomes comes into play and is utilized. We are nothing if not intelligent beings, us humans, and we can circumvent in so many clever ways to avoid our fears. That deep down, we truly don't believe our art is good enough, and by extension, neither are we. And as unpopular as this perspective may be, I want you to hear me out, because you need to uncover the lies you tell yourself when you dress up your fears as valid and make them statements of truth, because in that process, not only do you not get to create what you want to, the world doesn't get to see your creations either. It all just stays dormant within you and never gets to see the light of day. And I know it's scary to confront these excuses and start beginning creating what you desire, even though along the way, you'll have to confront the fact that there may be things that need upskilling or that your dream may require more work than you thought it would, but at least you are taking action and you're on your way. And the truth is, walking that path may not be as comforting or as cozy as holding on to your dreams in a passive state, but the creativity within you cannot bloom either. It remains stuck in a state of no man's land. It wants to be born, and yet the conduit, which is you, is refusing to open the channel. So let's do some journaling. I'm going to start with a prompt with The reason for this exercise is to show you that our excuses offer us something beneficial in terms of not needing to risk anything, but what they're really doing is blocking our creative channels that are there to flow and be expressed and are resilient enough to handle anything that comes our way. We just don't step out of our fears long enough to see that they're illusions, that there really is a monster beneath the bed, just shapes, created shadows that are made up of our own fearful thoughts. So let's flip the switch on, flood light onto them and see them for what they are, creative blockers, and let's begin the work of opening the channel for the creative conduit that you are. So it's truth-telling time. Be as honest as you can with yourself and as gentle as you can be with some self-compassion, and make a list of everything that you think is wrong with you, your art and your creativity. List the practical as well as the personal. So for example, I don't have the time or the money for all the materials. I don't have the space to make anything. I don't think my art's really that original. I don't know enough about the creative process. I feel stuck. I don't feel good enough. Anything along those lines. I don't feel like I have anything worthwhile to share. Be extensive with that list. Write it all out. Everything that you can think of that's standing between you and making the art you want to make, and all the reasons why you can't or aren't making it. Now I want you to list all the benefits of believing these thoughts, because there are benefits hidden in amongst them. They could range from not ever having to face failure because you never executed on them, not having to contend with negative opinions from others, avoiding feelings of embarrassment or even humiliation if something you created and shared was looked down upon. Allow yourself to see what the benefits are to you. For me, when I wasn't creating, but I knew I wanted to, I benefited from being able to think about my dreams and feel invigorated by them and tell everyone else why I couldn't do what I wanted to. And the bottom line was I was just afraid. I didn't think my work was good enough. I feared dealing with customers or clients. I kept telling myself I didn't know what to do and it was all too late for me to learn now. I was far too behind in so many ways. And for all those years, I told myself that the benefit I was of keeping my dreams as my dreams is that I didn't risk failing publicly. And I made excuses well-versed and elaborate enough that I was able to convince all of those around me I got to stay where my brain deemed as safe. And really, it was a state of stagnation. So I want you to go over these journal prompts, think about what they mean to you. We'll be back again next week with the next part in the series, which looks at negative motivations. If you have any questions about this episode or you want to share some of your journal prompts from your findings, then please feel free to message me on Instagram or email me at illustratingbrain@gmail.com, and I'll be back again next week.